Are you guys from Lamoni, born and raised, or did you guys move to Lamoni as kids?
Well, I was raised in Oklahoma, and we moved to Lamoni after Howard completed his PhD, or almost completed it, from the University of Iowa.
And I was born in Detroit, Michigan. My father was a full-time minister in the Community of Christ Church. And so we moved many times. We moved to Columbus, Ohio. We moved to Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And we moved to Council Bluffs, Iowa. And then I moved to Independence from there. We met in Independence, Missouri. And as Benita said, we came here for me to teach at Graceland in 1969.
And what did you teach?
I taught religious studies and I chaired the humanities division. I loved what I did. I loved Graceland because I was a 4-year graduate at Graceland, and in fact part of the first accredited 4-year class that graduated at Graceland University.
Cool.
And 1960 is when that occurred.
What is your earliest memory of the area, and why is it important to you?
Well, my earliest memory is as an undergraduate student at Graceland, and I suppose my memories included getting away from the campus occasionally for a date or something like that. Just a nice kind of what I thought of as a farm community. I'd never been in a small community like this, but it grew on me, and I really, really enjoyed it.
My memory was I was a stay-at-home mom, and I found people, it was easy to get around. I found people very friendly. I enjoyed Howard working at the university because we had, once a month we had faculty events, and that was fun. And it was just a comfortable place, very safe place, and there was a lot of activity, I thought.
Okay, how are holidays celebrated in your family here in Lamoni?
Well, our 2 sons live in Seattle, Washington, but when they were with us, we celebrated birthdays and invited all their friends, and they'd play football in our side yard here. Easter, we had the traditional Easter baskets and dressed them up and went to church and had Easter egg hunts. As college students, they'd bring their friends over. They looked like a bunch of hippies, gathering their eggs and then sitting on the ground and counting them. I think they were hippies. But the main thing, now that our boys have graduated, they both graduated from Graceland, and they're both living in Seattle, so the main time we see them to celebrate is at Christmas. They always come home for Christmas. Not always before Christmas. They get the cheapest airfare, and we celebrate when they come, and it makes no difference that it's the 25th or the 24th.
Our sons love Seattle, no question about it. But they also really do love coming back to Lamoni. There are just good memories that they had. As children, they were free. This is a safe community, and they were free to kind of explore on their own and be away from the house, and we never really worried about them. People looked out for children in those days, no question.
It's been an easy community to give them roots, but also give them wings. And that's just exactly how it went. Wide wings.
What were some of your favorite things to do after moving here?
Go to Des Moines. I'm just kidding. We did have to adjust in terms of the smallness of the town and what they had to consume. We learned very quickly we needed to make lists for our Des Moines travels, and that's what we did. But we have enjoyed thoroughly the community in a variety of ways. The people are really wonderful for the most part. And there have been, over the years, a lot of community activities that we participated in that kind of they have throughout the year. We love the Coliseum, the theater that we have in our small town. Love doing that. And then, of course, we feel privileged to be here in order to take advantage of the wonderful opportunities and events that are provided at Graceland University.
It wasn't much of an adjustment to me. I grew up, I lived in the country. My dad worked for an oil company, and so I lived in what I call an oil camp. You know, if I want people to, oh, I was raised in an oil camp, but it was wonderful. Kids everywhere, we had a great time. And so when I came to Lamona, it wasn't a difficult adjustment for me. I found it very exciting. We would get together with other faculty and families, and we'd have wonderful discussions. That was a lot of fun. It expanded my horizons unbelievably. We loved to go to all the campus activities, the fine arts, any event happening, and sports. We thought it was important to support the students. Plus, we just loved it. And as I said, once a month, the faculty would all get together to have a barn dance or a potluck or whatever. And you met so many different people. I wasn't raised in the RLDS church like Howard was, and I didn't go to Graceland. So almost everyone here for me was new. But I found it easy to be a part of different things, and it was great. I've loved it ever since we came here.
What is an aspect of the community that you feel is underappreciated?
I think we underappreciate what the university offers. The opportunity to connect to all kinds of students from all over the country as well as the world. There are connections that are made as community members do participate in the activities, but I think we could go way beyond what we do with respect to developing the relationship between students and community members.
Do you have any ideas on how Graceland or the community could go about that, building that relationship?
Well, we've participated over the years. It's just been inconsistent. But we've participated in programs where they provide homes of people
town parents,
who are
which was a wonderful
who
program.
are willing to participate in that program, and then they have students over on a not necessarily a regular basis, but from time to time during the year, and that has worked really well some years, and then not so well or not even worked at all, other times.
And I really can only speak for us. I don't know, how much everything's appreciated by others, but we have loved interacting through the years with international students. One year we kind of adopted the Malaysian students, and we might have as many as 15 come, and I think they shared Christmas dinner with us once. I was amazed because we went to Malaysia to one of their weddings, and I asked this one young man, "What foods do you miss most about Lamoni?" I was shocked when he said, "Well, your turkey and potatoes and gravy." I didn't expect that. And then for a period of time, I recruited in Hawaii. And so we would have Hawaiian students over about once a month, maybe as many as 40.
Yeah.
Because they'd bring their friends. And that was delightful. You really get to know students, that way. I know there are individuals in the community who also have international students and other students into their home, but I really wish we had the town parent program again. I thought it was wonderful. Every year we had one or two college students. Sometimes we were good about it, sometimes they were good about it, and sometimes it really clicked, but it was a good way, and that was before apartments. You know, I noticed with the Hawaiian students that really changed when they could have their own apartment because they could make their own Hawaiian food, not depend on me. But there are so many in the community that I think don't take advantage of all the wonderful offerings from Graceland. And I remember one time we had our vocal director did a performance that required having young students, and so he had the young students from the elementary school, and I think it was the first time some of their parents had ever stepped foot on our campus, and I was hoping that would really, and also all of our concerts and plays, I just don't think people know about it enough. I'd love to see more community people and people from the outlying areas get involved, but you know, if you haven't been on campus, it's a little strange to you, I think.
So after moving to Lamoni and working, did you guys ever consider moving out of the state, or did you ever move out of the state and then move back to Lamoni?
It never entered our mind to move. We loved what we were doing. We felt we were hopefully a service to the students and to the university, and we had good friends here, and it never entered our mind. When we considered retirement, we thought this is really the best place to retire. It's peaceful. You don't have windshield time to get to many different places. We have a lot of things on campus that we can still participate in, and they have reduced rates for retired students, retired people to take classes, and we haven't done that. I wish I had, but I think that's a real asset, you know, and not long ago, maybe a couple of years ago, we passed, we don't call it a resolution, but anyway, the city council did that people could drive their golf carts in town. Now, I don't see many people doing that, but at least
I don't think I've seen
I
any
know,
since I've
but
been
at
here.
least that's an option for people who can no longer drive.
Yeah.
It would be really nice if we had elderly housing in our community. We don't have that yet, but I hope we'll get it sometime, because I think there are a lot of people who would love to stay here, and sometime they want to be closer. They want to be closer to a city, but we've decided to stay here, to stay in this house until they carry us out.
We do, no question about it. We do miss being away from our two sons so far. But with the kind of travel that you can do now, and we travel a great deal, all over the country and all over the world, really. And you just go to Kansas City and you go anywhere in the world. And I love to drive. So we drive to Phoenix every year, and we drive up to Canada for some fishing every year, and we usually get to either Phoenix or Florida. So we really do get around a great deal. And it's so easy to move out of Lamoni to do that.
And it's a great place to come back to.
That's right. And we come back, and we're not anxious when we travel about who's going to break into our home, because at least so far that's not something that happens.
So if you guys were to win the lottery, would you stay in Lamoni, or would you move to be closer to your sons?
Good question. Good question.
I think we'd probably stay in Lamoni.
Yeah.
But we would, you know, probably hop on the plane and fly more often.
Or
we would travel even more.
Or if we won the lottery, we'd have enough maybe to have a second home, maybe towards Seattle, at least closer. So that might be what we do.
Or we might just save it, or we might give it away. Who knows what we do? I'd like to give it a try.
How do you describe Lamoni to people unfamiliar with the area?
I say right away, it's a very small community in the middle of cornfields, but it's a college, it's a university town, and that makes all the difference in the world.
It's very metropolitan in that way. Yeah, the diversity I think is wonderful. I don't think you have as many international students as we had when we were still working there, but just to see students from our country gets so close to students from other countries. We've had international students who are truly enemies in their own country. And one of the most wonderful statements I think I heard one of our international students say is, you know, when I came to the States, I saw in black and white, talking about other people, and now I see in Technicolor. And I thought that was just such a, because he became friends with someone who would have been an arch enemy in his country. They were fighting each other. And so it's just, for me, very exciting to see a diversity on campus come together and understand each other and understand each other's country better.
I think of Lamoni as an intercultural oasis. Intercultural in the sense that there is that town-gown interconnection, and I consider that intercultural.
I describe it as a place that is peaceful, a place where you can get to know people, have a lot of fun with each other, a place that you can get away from when you need to, because Kansas City's nearby, Des Moines nearby, Omaha's nearby. It's a place where there's a lot of activity going on, a little short on restaurants, but still we have quite a few places where, you know, if you want to go out for dinner, there are places to go. I have found it just has been a really nice place to settle in and to raise our family and to retire together, to have our golden years together. And so we like it here, but we love to travel and get away and come back.
So to family and friends that haven't been to the area or don't live in the area, what would be your sales pitch to get them to move to the area?
Well, I would say, having been to Seattle many times and seeing how long it takes us to get from the outskirts to downtown, hours, I would say, this is great. A traffic jam in Lamoni is having to wait for 5 cars at an intersection. It's a breeze to get to the city when you need to or want to. If you have doctor's appointments, you've got interstate going every direction. Again, the people, you know, people who care about their community, opportunities to volunteer. Our community would not be what it is if we didn't have volunteers. In fact, Howard and several of his buddies, every one of them had had open heart surgery, laid the walking trail around town. And you know, that's a wonderful opportunity to get to do something like that and learn new skills and to know it's going to be a service to people. So I think we have here just almost everything that you need, unless you need a lot more than I need. Yeah. But my family, when they we switch around Thanksgiving, but when we have it, and we might have 20 people, they love being here. We walk downtown, they love to poke through our little shops, and they love it. Now, they possibly wouldn't want to live here, but they love Lamoni, and that always makes me feel great.
If resources is an issue, then this is a wonderful place because, especially for housing, it's not that we have all kinds of houses available, but housing is so, the prices are so modest compared to so many cities throughout the country. In fact, a home like this, or even much more moderate, that might cost, let's say a home here that would cost $75,000. I'm not exaggerating to say that in Seattle, the same space, the same basic home would cost over $1 million without any question.
Over $1 million.
Yes, over $1 million. $75,000.
We did see homes, we were looking with our son, we did see homes that were not livable. Truly, they were not livable, and they were asking over $200,000
Wow.
for those homes. So you get a lot for your money here. We try anything we can purchase in this community, we do. But we keep a running list of those things we can't, so when we go to Des Moines, you know, we get those things. But we're very committed to support our community and purchase what we can purchase here. Sometimes it costs a little more, but we know our merchants struggle, you know, to keep the doors open, and a lot of it is a gift to the community.
What is one thing you most want people to remember about Lamoni as we speed into the future?
Well, I want people to know that there are a lot of people working to keep Lamoni a healthy community and a thriving community. Not thriving as you see in the city, but you know, you bring in one business and that's a real boost to the community. So we don't just sit on our haunches and let things, you know, go to hell in a handbasket, but people are working all the time to. We've had 2 new businesses come to town in the last few years, and it's wonderful because it boosts our tax base, and I want them to know that people care about their community. They're not isolated from each other. They volunteer to keep it a good place, and I appreciate the person in charge of our what's it called? The utility plant. I appreciate our law enforcement and their attitude. I appreciate our city council members and our mayor, because they really have the heart of the community at the forefront. I think that there are many wonderful people who live here, and I don't know them all. I'd like to, but I don't know them all. But I've seen critical things happen in our community, and I see how the community gathers together to help people. You know, if they have a home burn or they lose a child, or they really rally around them and support them, and I think that's great.
Oh, I think about the founding of the town, and I can't even give you the date. But I think without the RLDS Church at the time, and then the RLDS Church's interest in establishing a college, a school for higher education, I think those two interests made, in a sense, provided the groundwork for the establishment of Lamoni. I'm not sure there would have been a town here apart from that. Now maybe an historian would disagree with that, but I think that is the case. And so there has been tremendous growth and development of the community from those pioneering days, and I think we need to appreciate that history.
And the university is our largest employer in town. They hire more people than any other employer, and that says a lot for the community. And I don't know that I would want to live here if we didn't have the university. I like what that adds to our life.
I agree with that, yeah.